I've now had the iPhone 16 Pro Max for a couple of days, so I thought I would tell you my thoughts about this phone so far. First of all, the camera quality is actually amazing, and I already love capturing daily moments with this phone, and any of my friends or family using an older iPhone are so impressed with the camera quality. So if you're switching from an iPhone 12, 13, 14, this camera is a huge upgrade when it comes to recording videos and taking photos. The 5x zoom is one of my favorite things that ever happened to iPhone, and makes anything you film on the iPhone more cinematic, and also lets you zoom in from a long distance. Like, look at how far away I was when filming this clip. It's actually insane. However, the 5x zoom is not anything new for the 16 Pro Max. This was actually also a feature of the 15 Pro Max, so this wasn't really an upgrade for me, but it's an iPhone feature I feel like I really couldn't go without. Overall, I just love the camera of this phone. I do feel like it is a little bit improved from the 15 Pro Max. However, of course, jumping from the 15 Pro Max to the 16 Pro Max, you're not gonna get the biggest jump in quality. But now let's talk about the design of this phone. I think it looks really nice, and I'm so happy with this color choice. This is the Desert Titanium. I definitely expected a more like brown, just darker color. This feels a little like pale. Honestly, now after a couple of days, I think this is my favorite iPhone color so far. It's so much nicer than those gold iPhones. I feel like this is the perfect like vanilla girl, clean girl aesthetic iPhone. Even though this color was a little disappointing at first, now I'm so happy with it. Only negative thing I have to say is these edges are obviously a little darker, and they show fingerprints super easily, which makes your phone look dirty really fast. I mean, it's not too noticeable, but as soon as you walk out in daylight, it becomes really obvious. But a simple solution to that is to keep a case on your phone. This case is from Berga, who are sponsoring this video. So I got a couple of new phone cases for my iPhone 16 Pro Max. Berga already has so many phone case designs available for the iPhone 16 series, and their designs are inspired by different fashion trends. So you can find a lot of trendy prints to style your phone with while still having a super protective case. And even celebrities like Taylor Swift and Lucy Hale uses Berga cases. I'm really strict about always keeping a case on my phone, especially a new phone that costs a lot of money. So I just want to feel 100% secure every day that my phone is not going to break. It gives me peace of mind. So I got two Elite cases that have Cloud Guard shock absorption and a microfiber interior. These cases also have raised edges around the phone and a frame for protecting the cameras. And the back of this phone has a scratch resistant finish. So first I got this adorable teddy bear print, and then I got this beautiful floral design. This one really gives me like vintage vibes, and I also have a matching AirPods case. I really love that Berga designs are available for so many devices, so you can match all your Apple products. And then I got two Tough cases. These cases have a more glossy finish that is also scratch resistant. It's a very minimalistic case. I really love this stripe design. And then I got this white and blue flower design. It's so pretty. For extra security, I attached this ring holder that complements the case so well, and it offers great support when holding your phone. It makes me feel a lot more secure when walking outdoors. It makes it harder to drop my phone because it's literally secured to my finger. And it also works as a phone stand, so you can actually rotate this 360 degrees to find a perfect viewing angle for watching YouTube. And guys, have you ever seen a power bank with a cute print? Because I haven't until I saw this. So this is a MagSafe power bank that you can attach to the back of your phone, even if you have a phone case on, and it charges your iPhone. So usually a power bank would kind of ruin the aesthetic of the phone and just cover the cute phone case. But with this one, it just complements the cute phone case. It also works with the Tough cases. You can already start browsing the cute iPhone 16 cases. They're out on the Berga website, and with my code SofiaX15, you will get 15% off your order from Berga. There's also a deal where if you buy two phone cases, you will get an additional 2 cases for free. But something new for the iPhone 16 Pro Max is the camera control, which I find really nice, and I've actually used it a lot already. Instead of these quick jumps you get when switching between these different zoom ranges, you get a much smoother transition with the camera control. So when I'm just switching between the different controls, this is what the zoom looks like. It's like very jumpy, I guess. But if we instead use the camera control, it's a much smoother transition. However, one negative thing about this is whenever the zoom is anywhere in between those ranges, the footage is a lot more grainy. So for example, at a 4x zoom, the footage will be not the best quality, a little bit grainy, until you reach the 5x zoom. Even though it's a positive thing that you can now do these smooth transitions between, for example, 1x and the 2x zoom, footage is just gonna turn out really grainy and low quality in between those zoom ranges anyways. So in between those different zoom ranges, it is a little bit more grainy. I think you can see right now we're at 3.7, and I mean, it's a little bit grainy actually. If we zoom in even more to 5, you can see it quickly finds focus, but if we zoom out just a little bit more, now we're at 4.4, and it's actually pretty grainy. So you do have to find the 2x zoom or 5x or whatever for this phone to be really good quality. So I mean, in that aspect, it's actually more convenient just switching between the different zoom ranges like this, because you're gonna get high quality and clear footage all the time in your video. And also you can basically do the same thing as the camera control does with an older iPhone if you use 2 fingers just zooming in, but obviously that's very inconvenient and that requires both hands. So in that aspect, the camera control is very useful because you can zoom in using one hand only, and it's also really accessible and opens the camera with just one click, a lot faster than it takes to open the camera from the lock screen. However, if your phone is locked, you will have to double click the camera control to open it, because if you only do one click, it's just gonna turn on the lock screen, but it's not gonna open the camera control. So you have to do a double click to open. But I mean, it still takes 1 second, so it's really convenient. Okay, another thing with the camera control is you have to make sure you're holding your phone in a steady grip, because I found that sometimes when I use the camera control to snap a photo, since you have to do a press with your finger, you can see my phone kind of moves a little bit, which sometimes actually makes the photo blurry, because compared to taking a photo like this, my phone is just still. I only have to touch my finger on the screen and it snaps a photo, so my phone stays in the same position. But using the camera control, unless you have a really good grip of your phone will twitch a little bit and the photo will turn out like a little blurry. So in most scenarios, this isn't going to be a problem unless you do a really big movement. It would just be a bummer to come home and notice that your photos are blurry because you used the camera control. I mean, not a huge issue, but definitely something to keep in mind. Okay, but now let's talk about the screen size of the iPhone 16 Pro Max. I was really worried that the screen was going to be too big, because this is the biggest iPhone so far. This phone is 6.9 inches compared to 6.7 inches for the previous iPhone 15 Pro Max. I honestly felt like I couldn't handle a bigger phone than the iPhone 15 Pro Max, but I was wrong because I love the bigger screen. So honestly, if Apple wants to make the screen even bigger next year, I'm here for it. Watching YouTube videos becomes more convenient. So here's a comparison between iPhone 16 Pro Max, 15 Pro Max, and 15 Pro, and I think you can clearly see the difference in screen size. I also think the difference is noticeable when using the phone, especially when watching YouTube videos or a series on your phone. I just feel like the phone becomes more versatile with a bigger screen because you can pay attention to more details. I obviously get the Pro Max model every year for a reason, but obviously you don't want a phone that's uncomfortable holding. But this phone doesn't feel wider, it only feels a bit taller. It still fits in my hands even with a case on. Here you can see a comparison comparison between the iPhone 16 Pro Max and the 15 Pro Max. Keep in mind the 16 Pro Max does have a case on here, but I think you can see that the screen is a bit taller than the 15 Pro Max, and it also becomes super clear that the 16 Pro Max has a bigger screen size when using the Snapchat camera, because the picture on the 16 Pro Max is just a bit taller. Talking about the Snapchat camera, because that's probably what a lot of people are gonna be using, taking everyday photos instead of the regular camera. I feel like the Snapchat camera always looks a little different on each year's iPhone, and I have to say this year's Snapchat camera is the best one so far. First of all, it just balances colors a lot better. This is a random picture I took at night, and you can see the 15 Pro Max picture is very yellow. The lighting probably was pretty yellow, but you can see the 16 Pro Max just balances the colors a lot better. For regular photos, I haven't noticed the biggest difference in quality. You can still see a difference, but I'm not sure if that's an improved camera of the iPhone 16 Pro Max or if it's just easier to see details because of the bigger screen. But I have to say, there is something I prefer about the iPhone 16 Pro Max camera. The iPhone 16 Pro Max has improved photographic styles, and these are actually really nice. And they're great for instantly improving the photo if you're in a setting where you think the lighting is too cool or too warm. And actually for shooting fall photos, using the amber or gold photographic style makes the photo a lot more cozy. And you can also customize each photographic style and make it even brighter or lower contrast. So I actually find this really useful because I still prefer editing the photo after it being taken in an external editing app, but this definitely makes the photo editing process a lot faster. If you know what photographic style you prefer, you're gonna save a lot of time not having to edit the photos in an external app. Let's also talk about night photography. Even though this was filmed in really dark lighting, the iPhone makes the footage seem a lot lighter. The quality is obviously not the best, but not bad either. The sky here was a lot darker than it looks on the recorded footage, so I think the iPhone does a pretty good job even though the video is a little grainy. All of these videos and pictures were taken at like 10 p.m. and these pictures were taken in night mode, but I see barely no grain in these pictures, so I think the night mode works really well. Let's talk about the wind noise reduction. This is a setting you can turn on and off in your audio recording settings, but it will work automatically when you're filming a video and just remove any wind noise. This works surprisingly well. Okay, so we're here outside. It's pretty windy right now, so I'm not sure what the audio is going to sound like. It is actually really, really windy. And this is recording with the iPhone 15 Pro. So it's still really windy, so let's see if there's any difference. I think you can see here that it's pretty windy. This used to be one reason I didn't like filming outdoors with my iPhone camera, because the iPhone usually picks out wind noise really easily, but not anymore. And also a new audio feature is that you can change the audio after you're finished filming. So now you have the standard audio and then you have something called studio audio. This actually works really well for improving the audio. It doesn't sound like it was recorded on an iPhone anymore. Get unready with me, so I'm gonna start using this micellar water. But I'm also gonna use this rice scrub for exfoliating. And then I'm using the Clove Recipe Toner. I'm just letting it dry a little bit, sink into my skin. And then I'm gonna use the Ordinary Moisturizer. For the other audio settings, I'm kind of struggling a little bit to know when I would use those settings. I feel like the only useful setting for me so far has been the studio audio. However, I really wish there was an audio setting where you could turn on automatically record in studio audio, because now we have to go into every individual clip and change the audio here, which isn't a big deal if you just have one video. But sometimes when I'm vlogging on my phone, I have like 50 videos. So going into every video and changing the audio to studio audio becomes really time consuming, and probably something I'm not gonna do in the long run because I just don't have time for it. So yeah, this would be such a good feature if you could just automatically record in a specific audio setting. So then let's talk about the battery of this iPhone. So the battery life is supposed to be increased by 4 hours. So I actually did a little battery test, stored in my battery percentage for the first day of using this phone. So at 11:30 it was at 82%. At 12:55 it was at 72, and at 6:10 in the afternoon it was down at 26. And actually at the end of the day the battery was down at 5%, but keeping in mind this was the first day of using the phone, which means it was still downloading a lot of apps and data from iCloud, and I also used it to record a bunch of videos. So I actually do think the battery is a lot better. As I'm recording this, it's 12 p.m. My battery is at 85%. This review was really like 90% about the iPhone camera. But those are the main new features of the 16 Pro Max. This does feel like a good upgrade, and I'm happy I upgraded because I use my phone a lot for filming and taking pictures every day. But if you're not a frequent user of the iPhone camera, or just don't care that much about having the very best quality of the camera, this phone would not be like any different from the iPhone 15 Pro Max or 15 Pro. But let me know what you think of the iPhone 16 Pro Max if you have it. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!